My new property is stunning. Quiet, serene, exactly what I had been searching for. But it came with one enormous downside, a homeowners association. And not just any HOA. This one was ruled by the undisputed monarch of meddling neighbors. We'll call her Karen. From the first week I moved in, she seemed to have decided I was her personal mission. My offense? I installed a solid rustic wooden gate at the entrance of my long private driveway. According to Karen, this was an unauthorized alteration that disrupted the neighborhood's visual harmony. Never mind that my land stretches far back on the road, and the gate is barely visible unless you're looking for it. She sent formal letters, then emails, then threats of fines that somehow grew more dramatic every single week. I tried to reason with her. I showed her the survey markers, explained that the gate was for security and to keep my dogs safely on the property. She refused to budge. Instead, she escalated in the most absurd way possible. One morning, as I prepared to head to work, I discovered a brand new gleaming white Tesla parked directly in front of my gate, completely blocking the entrance. A neat little note rested under the windshield wiper. This is designated HOA common area. Your gate is an illegal obstruction. Remove it immediately or it will be taken down at your expense. I was livid. That wasn't common property. It was the entrance to my own driveway. She had deliberately positioned her car right along the edge of my land to prove a point. I called her, straight to voicemail. I texted, "Please move your car. You're blocking my driveway." Her response came instantly. As stated in HOA Bylaw 7.4, all common areas must remain free of personal structures. The gate is a violation, not my vehicle. She was quoting bylaws like scripture. I wouldn't have been surprised if she drafted them herself over a glass of Chardonnay the night before. This ridiculous standoff lasted for days, which turned into weeks. Every morning, that white Tesla sat there like a shining monument to her stubbornness. I had no choice but to park my truck along the side of the road and hike up my own half-mile driveway. I contacted the police. They arrived, assessed the situation, and told me that since it was technically a civil issue involving private property boundaries, there wasn't much they could do. They suggested calling a tow truck. So I did. The driver showed up, examined how she had positioned the vehicle, and shook his head. Because part of the car rested on the public road shoulder and part on my land, towing could spark legal trouble from either side. "She's found the perfect gray zone," he muttered. He wasn't willing to risk it. She had engineered the ideal legal loophole to make my life miserable. I felt stuck. Friends offered all kinds of suggestions. "Just push it with your truck," one joked. "Let the air out of her tires," another suggested. As tempting as those ideas sounded, I knew they would only turn me into the villain. I needed patience. I needed strategy. Then I remembered something important. Months earlier, long before this gate fiasco, I had scheduled a delivery, a massive one. I had ordered several cords of seasoned hardwood for winter, not a small batch, a full logging truckload. I checked my calendar. Delivery was set for Tuesday. A slow grin spread across my face. I decided not to give Karen any warning. I would simply let events unfold naturally. Tuesday morning arrived. I brewed fresh coffee and sat on my porch, which offered a perfect view of the driveway entrance. At exactly 9 a.m., I heard the deep rumble of a diesel engine and the sharp hiss of air brakes. A gigantic mud-streaked logging truck crept down the narrow country road. The driver, a broad-shouldered man with a beard that looked capable of wrestling wildlife, leaned out his window, eyeing the white Tesla blocking his path. I strolled down the driveway casually, mug in hand. "Morning," I greeted him. "Having an issue," he replied gruffly. "Somebody parked their toy in the way. Got a load of wood for this address." "That's mine," I said, "and that car belongs to my neighbor. She's protesting my gate." He studied the situation carefully, measuring the clearance. We were talking inches. "I get paid by the delivery," he said finally, "not by the hour. I'm coming through." I pulled out my phone and started recording. I didn't encourage him. I didn't stop him. I simply documented. The truck began its slow maneuver. The size contrast was almost laughable, like a freight train squeezing past a bicycle. He edged forward, tires grinding gravel. The heavy trailer stacked high with timber began its wide turn. I could already see the outcome. So could he. But physics doesn't negotiate. The rear of the trailer swung outward. The reinforced steel bumper aligned perfectly with the Tesla's rear driver's side door. The sound followed. Not a bang. A drawn-out, costly crunch. Metal bending. Fiberglass cracking. Paint scraping away in a slow, painful symphony of destruction. Then the massive trailer tire rolled up over the Tesla's back wheel, crushing it with a sickening pop. The logging truck continued forward, dragging the damaged vehicle slightly before clearing it completely. He parked calmly and stepped down. "Where do you want the wood?" he asked. Moments later, Karen came racing down the road in her golf cart. Her face was pure outrage. She saw her spotless electric pride and joy now mangled beyond recognition. She erupted, shouting at me, at the driver, at the sky itself. "You did this. I'm suing you. I'm suing everyone." The driver crossed his arms. "Ma'am, you were illegally blocking a commercial access point. My truck records everything. Your car was in the way. Speak to my company's insurance." I took a slow sip of coffee. "Karen," I said evenly, "your car was blocking my gate." This time, when police arrived, it wasn't a vague property disagreement. It was a traffic obstruction and an accident. They reviewed my footage and the dash cam recording. Karen accused everyone of vandalism and reckless endangerment. The officer calmly explained that her illegal parking had caused the incident. The same tow truck driver who once refused finally got his chance. He hooked the battered Tesla, its rear wheel barely attached, and hauled it away. Karen stood fuming, threatening lawsuits that sounded weaker by the minute. The logging driver finished unloading my wood, nodded respectfully, and drove off. The quiet that followed was glorious. I walked to my gate. For the first time in weeks, nothing blocked it. I swung it open, the hinges creaking softly. It was the sweetest sound imaginable. Sometimes you don't need to fight back aggressively. Sometimes you just need a bigger truck. Thanks for watching. If you survived your own HOA horror story, share below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of well-earned justice.